Welcome to the No Things Considered podcast. We're going to do something different today. I had a chance to sit down and talk with Andy Signore. He's a YouTube creator who has basically been on the wrong side of Me Too. And I want to play you that interview now. It's an incredible interview. I think you guys are going to like him, and you're going to learn a lot from it. He just settled a case that he cannot talk about and he can't say certain things about. So I want to talk about this. His name's Andy Signore. He's the creator of Screen Junkies and Honest Trailers, two of my favorite things on YouTube, hands down. Honest Trailers in particular, I freaking love. It's amazing. He's a brilliant guy. He's a brilliant creator. A couple of years ago, he had a relationship with a woman back and forth, and they dated back and forth, and they were flirty and whatnot. And out of nowhere, she accused him in the middle of the Me Too stuff. Actually, at the very beginning of the Me Too stuff, out of nowhere, she accuses him of all of the harassing things and sexual harassment and whatnot, and being a creepy guy. Turns out all of it was fake. He was able to back up everything, thank God, with text messages, with emails, and you can see this all online. I urge you to go take a look at his story that he explains fully online on a YouTube video, which he clarified just recently because he was legally allowed to. When Me Too took over, listen, it helps out a lot of women, and it has helped people get their stories out. But when you take a look at a movement like that and how instantly men who are blamed of something are instantly judged to be found guilty and the court of public opinion comes down on them, it can go awry very quickly. It can be taken advantage of. It can be used to push someone out of a company that they helped found. And that's really what happened here. It was used nefariously to try to end Andy's life, essentially. Take away everything that he created, everything good that he had done. And it should bother you. It should bother you that a movement that should be positive can be weaponized. It's troubling. It's a troubling story to hear. And the problem is, in these situations, when the court of public opinion is going on and people are being ruined and run out of town, like Andy and what happened to him, I know from my legal training, and I know from some things that people have been through who have been very close to me, that the person who is being accused can't publicly speak out. Your lawyer tells you to be quiet. You're only going to make things worse if you speak out. So you have to be quiet while the world comes down on you and rails on you. And the court of public opinion now on Twitter ruins you. So finally, apparently there was a settlement reached, and Andy released a statement, what he was allowed to say. And we're not going to talk about what he's allowed to say with that here today. I urge you again to go take a look and look up his statement online because he says it very articulately, and he was given specific coaching. I know how this works from an attorney, what he can and can't say. So you should go see his statement on exactly what happened to him online. That being said, I want to bring in Andy now, creator of Screen Junkies, Honest Trailers. This guy is a brilliant, brilliant man, went through some terrible stuff, and he's using it now to work on a new project. And I want him to talk about that project today. Andy, welcome to the show.
Hey, Tim. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And I wanted to cover all that stuff because I didn't want you to get in any trouble or be in any kind of sticky situation where you can't answer any questions. So I hope I covered everything.
Yeah, you did. I appreciate it. And I can talk about the accusations. I just can't talk about the settlement. But yes, I thank you for clarifying all that and setting the tone for the story.
Yeah, no problem. So I want to talk about this project that you're working on now. I think it's very intriguing, and I've done so much talking for you and on your behalf here. I want you to tell everybody about what you're working on now.
I appreciate it. I mean, so you did paint it very well, and it's been a rough 2 years for me, and I was canceled is what happened to me, and I believe unfairly. And through that time, as you said so eloquently, I couldn't say anything. I couldn't defend myself, and I had a platform. I was a bit of a celebrity online, and I was very lucky to have all that, and then overnight it was gone. I knew in the back of my head if I could eventually release this information, I did think it would sway some opinions, because even as I was sort of watching from afar as I was taken out, I could see people were asking questions, people were confused, but the movement was just so important, I think, for a lot of people, especially back then, that they didn't want to publicly go against it. I think now as time has shifted, people have realized we can't just believe everyone without, and then not just, of course, I think we should believe people when they come forward, but we can't then condemn the other side and assume, well, they're wrong because this person said that. We do need to take, we need to get facts from both sides.
Yes.
And so now that I was able to provide my facts, it's turned a lot of opinions, and it's made a lot of apologies happen, and I'm grateful for that. And I've been able to, thank God, earn a bit of my spotlight back. And so as I've been standing here and realizing I'm slowly growing a platform, it's not the way it was. But by any means, I'd love any support. Just to go subscribe. My channel is Popcorn Planet on YouTube. But beyond that, I realized I have this short, I got the spotlight back. I want to shine it on other people who've been canceled. I want to almost uncancel other people out there who are going through these sort of experiences and don't deserve it or have made a simple mistake because they're human, and they realize, you know what, we should be listening to their story, but they don't have a platform, and no media outlet wants to, have egg on their face. They don't want to share the story of we were wrong about this, or it looks like we jumped to conclusions on this. And the reality is it's happening every freaking day. And so it's like a really scary thing right now where we are just canceling people because Twitter or social media thinks they're doing, they're getting that dopamine hit of, I did something good today, I just canceled that person. But they don't realize the collateral damage. They don't realize the mental and emotional weight that does to someone, especially when you're not even getting both sides. So I've launched this new series. It's called Hugging the Cactus. And so I have a Kickstarter. You can look it up online if you go to Kickstarter, Hugging the Cactus. I actually am about 65-70% of my goal. But my goal is to try and find other stories. When I got taken out, hundreds of people reached out with these heartbreaking stories, and I went and vetted them and spoke to them and could see that these people were just getting railroaded. And I thought, when my story happened, I don't know if you've seen it, but everyone I ever worked with saw my story. It was everywhere. The mass media plastered it everywhere. And then as soon as I came forward with evidence to dispute the charges and really bring a lot of questions, everyone went silent. No outlet wanted to cover it. Still, I'm having trouble to this day. So luckily, I found specific outlets, and actually more conservative outlets really did sort of speak up and help me get the word out there. And then the story became viral in itself where people couldn't deny it. But I realized for so many people, they don't have a platform. So that's what I'm excited about, this new sort of venture and this new project, is to sort of help be the voice for the voiceless right now of people who are just being wronged.
Well, it's amazing to me. And that's a lot of people, these stories, when you see them in the news, a lot of people automatically pass judgment. A lot of people like to jump on social media, like you said, and just pile on, and they're like, we're going to end this evil person, we're going to end this evil man, without taking a look at all the facts in a situation when there's an accuser. Because all it is word against word. And, well, in your case, there was word against a lot of evidence in your favor that cleared you completely. But so many people don't have the platform that you have, don't have the connections that you have, or don't have the know-how that as to how to get a story out. And it's amazing. There are so many men and maybe women as well who have been falsely accused of things with Me Too, and it's scary. It's scary how quickly things can snowball and literally end someone's career and livelihood just based on one person making one false claim. I mean,
yeah, and then the whole world just follows it, and then the media the media right now is just, I think they're getting better, to be honest, because I think they're getting sued. I think a lot of outlets are starting to realize, well, maybe we jumped to a lot of conclusions there. We have to actually do better journalism, which is hard in this day and age. But yeah, I mean, especially early on, I was literally the second person after Harvey Weinstein, and then I've been immediately plastered next to him throughout. All my legacy is next to his face, and that offends me because we're not even the same universe. But this idea that anybody who does any sort of wrong, especially if there's any sort of flirtation or anything involved, to just assume that we're all Harvey Weinsteins, is a really dangerous thing that people are doing. Because I do think Weinstein did some questionable things. I heard him on audio. Like there's a lot of stuff against him where I understand why that happened. But that doesn't mean then, Aziz Ansari and so many other people have been coming forward should not be compared to the levels that Weinstein's being currently compared to in a court of law, which is where it should be taken, and figured out. And so that's what's so frustrating right now is that social media is just lumping everyone together as the bad guys and get the hell out of Hollywood. Let's start over. And then, they don't realize I had to go through a divorce. I did make some mistakes. I was flirting with my fans, and I'm taking accountability for that. I'm not proud of that. And that's been my punishment over the past 2 years, is dealing with that. But that doesn't mean I shouldn't ever be able to provide for them again. Yes. That affects them too. And when you cancel someone, you got to remember they have family, they have a mother, they have kids, they have people who are going to be affected by what you're doing. We have to be better as people and not jump to such serious conclusions because you're destroying lives.
And then the problem also becomes, Andy, and what I saw when you have examples like Brie Larson, and I don't know if you're familiar with this or not. We didn't talk about this when I talked to you before, John, but Brie Larson, just a few years ago, before she was Captain Marvel, was complaining and saying that she understood sexual assault victims because she was asked for her phone number by a TSA agent on Twitter. And when you have that as the example, where a woman or an accuser, just in general, could say, I was sexually assaulted because someone asked for my phone number, and then someone runs with the story that XYZ, this person is a sexual assaulter because he merely asked a woman for a phone number, but they forget the actual what happened, and they run with sexual assault. It's the end of someone's life. I mean, at the least, it's the end of someone's life until they clear their name, which could be God knows how long. But it's just a very, very complex thing. So how many men, when you speak to men who have been affected by this, and when you've been researching your new project, how many have you found that have had issues like you, and how many are coming forward? Is it creating a lot of awareness?
I get a lot. It's hard because I'm trying not to focus just on men who've been accused of
yes.
Because the victim, she said she was claiming sexual assault, and that's a serious charge. That's not like I'm flirting with a fan or sexual assault to me, as you said, isn't asking for a phone number. That's a criminal act and something that really affects your name. And so that was what I was accused of. And so I'm trying not to just, yes, I have a football player who was cleared, who I'm speaking to currently as a potential guest, but it's not just even those types of charges. Like I have a politician I'm speaking to, and I'm locking all these people. I'll be announcing names soon, but she was a politician in Canada who was accused of being apologetic to white supremacists. And because a colleague of hers took out of context conversations from years ago that they were having academically, where they were challenging each other politically. And and she didn't have the full context of the conversations, but they took them out of context and just completely destroyed her life. Overnight, she was done. She was labeled a white supremacist. She was a conservative running in Canada, and not at all what she believes or who she is. But this person wanted to take her out to win the election and did. And now this poor woman who's so amazingly smart, mother, so talented and deserves to have a career, she's just can't do anything. She's still stuck in this sort of as a shut-in of just like feeling worthless in her life, and she's so not. She's such an important voice. And then because a lot of my stuff's pop culture, but then to the other side of the coin, like I have a story of a guy who got canceled who made a film starring Leonardo DiCaprio. The film's called Don's Plum. I don't know if anybody's actually heard of it, but in the 90s, when Leo was before he was Titanic, he was running around chasing skirts around Hollywood, and they made this film as friends. This director, Dale Wheatley, was friends with Leonardo, and made this film with him and Tobey Maguire and the sort of his crew at the time. As Leo is rising to superstardom, he realizes, I made that film where I'm seeming kind of a jerk. I'm a little sexist. I'm playing a character, but still I might be conceived poorly. Toby and Leo completely destroy the friendship and destroy the film and block it from being released and paint this guy as an opportunist and destroy his career. And still to this day, 20 years later, blacklisted from Hollywood because Leonardo is, the power that he is. And this poor guy's been canceled and never can work again. So my point is, like, it's amazing as I've stepped back, like, yes, there's cases like mine, but there's cases all across the gamut in every profession where we are just canceling people due to political beliefs or our own egos. And it's really interesting when you just try and listen and do the research and get the other side, you realize it's not always black and white. There's a lot of gray areas that need to be talked about, and people do deserve second chances. We're human beings. We mess up, or sometimes we don't even mess up. Someone else made a mistake and is covering their butt, And so those are just a sample of some of the stories that I'm already starting to tell as I'm researching and vetting this process of the show. And again, people can look it up. I know people are often driving, but Hugging the Cactus is sort of the key word you can think of. You can find it on Kickstarter later when you get home. But yeah, I love support because I don't have the financial security I used to. Like I'm getting back to being scrappy, and I'm hustling day to day to try and rebuild on my own now the things I built really successfully before that I lost all control and stake in. And so now it's humbled me, and it's made me, I think, more hungry than ever to do it. But I do realize that, I need help. And from people who are fans of mine or believed in my work, now is the time. If they can help me, I'm not going to forget it. And I'm going to take it in a way, I think, even better than I did before.
I think that's awesome. And it really, your work, and again, I encourage people to go take a look at your full story and when you talk about everything on YouTube, but your work in bouncing back from this, should be commended. Honestly, you went through hell, and I think what you're doing now is really a service to a lot of people. Again, a lot of people don't think about all the accusations that get thrown at people for just different things that can cancel them, can cancel their lives. And I don't know how our culture got to this point, but I'm glad that there's someone like you that's out there and able to shed light on this. And you have a lot of support too. I was going through YouTube. A lot of YouTubers, bigger YouTubers, have come out in support of you and said, hey, we were wrong. And I got to give people credit. I think you're changing the culture in a very positive way, and there need to be more people like you standing up for what's right in the world. And again, Hugging the Cactus, people should go take a look at it. What is your YouTube channel again for people to subscribe to?
Yeah, it's called Popcorn. It's a mouthful. Popcorn, like think Scorched Earth, but Popcorn Planet. I'm like the scorched earth of Hollywood right now. So I thought, hey, I'll be an honest, more genuine voice than I've ever been. And I comment daily on movies and do a lot of fun debates and things there. And then, yeah, if you watch any of my videos on there on YouTube, I'm plugging my Hugging the Cactus a lot there. But right now my focus is that Kickstarter goal. I have like a week left. So anybody wants to sponsor or be a part of it or help release it, I'm all ears. I'm looking for partners. So thank you, Tim, for letting me spread that word and for saying all the kind things you're saying.
And no problem. And you guys should go take a look at Popcorn Planet. If you like Steven Crowder's Change My Mind, Andy did a video the other day of Thor. Again, Marvel announcing that Thor's going to be a female. And Andy said I believe Thor is just one gender, Change My Mind. That was a great video. You guys, a lot of great content from him. Brilliant guy. Andy, thanks for joining us. And hopefully everything will work out well. Go support this guy. Really, really good guy.